Hi, this is Mendy.
Hey, this is Fran.
This is Total Tactics Football. Fran, how exhilarating was this win of City's over Wolf? It's a team that they've been able to beat for a while.
I thought it was a fantastic season opener for City because, as you mentioned, they dropped 6 points to Wolves last season, and I'm sure they were really up for this game. And you would have thought the same thing would have happened in the second half, but Wolves looked much more menacing in the second half. There was a sort of 10 minutes within 60th to 70th minute where they had 3 or 4 chances clear on goal versus City. Then City kind of moved things back into perspective, but then Wolves recovered with a late goal, and City tried their best to see things out, which eventually led them to play for garbage time, where Gabriel Jesus was quite fortunate with his last goal.
You're absolutely right. I mean, let's start off with the main MVP for the City team, Kevin De Bruyne. What a player. He played in that number 10 role today, Fernandinho and Rodri just behind him to shield, to protect him, and allow him the freedom to just express himself. It's a player with absolute work rate, pressing ability, understanding of the game, exceptional passing range. And we could see how he moves into play. It's his 1-2 with his teammates. He brings them into the game. There's so much pace and drive, and I feel like sometimes with the opposition, when you see a player of his quality, you have this natural fear. It's very difficult, and he got a goal. It was a penalty. He should have scored a few more times. He was just all over the field, and with him, I feel like I want to give like some credit to Foden, who's now looks like he's going to be a mainstay in this City side. Considering how Pep rotates, he loves his 1-2s. He links up. He's so mature for his age. His understanding as well is impeccable. I feel what is the most impressive about him, he always does the simple things. He likes to play the game clean and very clearly. Just what the tactics have been told, nothing super elaborate, nothing over the top. Just clean, simple, 1-2 passes, getting to space, helping his team out, trying to take a shot at goal, try to put in the pass through players. And I feel sometimes when you're playing at this level, it's so important to do the simple things right, because that leads for you to be able to build that momentum and confidence to push for a quality performance.
No, I agree. I mean, I think Foden is a player you can always see him running into space between players, and that's his most effective asset. He is kind of a free roamer, in the very same sense as Kevin De Bruyne. I feel like both of them understand that as the other player makes a more offensive move into the pitch, the other person has to kind of take the more defensive role. And that was exactly what happened, where you can see at moments where De Bruyne and Foden alternate from the right and to the center. And Foden is always a player who looks to abuse the gaps in opposing defenses. And he does that the same in the final third. And I feel like that kind of adds an additional element to City's game, where perhaps Jesus isn't the most clinical goal scorer, but Foden is someone who is always running in behind. And Kevin De Bruyne is sometimes someone who likes to drop deeper, and I feel like Foden complements him very well in that sense.
How impressed were you with the midfield pairing of Rodri and Fernandinho today?
I thought they were both excellent, to be honest. You can see that Wolves were not really able to play anything centrally. Rodrigo and Fernandinho were very good with the short passing and long passing, distributing back to their defenders and making sure that the ball retention was high. And they were still looking for progressive passes too. And that's the most beautiful thing about having Fernandinho higher up in the pitch. He's able to do a little bit more. I mean, he even had a small interplay where he could have had a shot on goal, showing his defensive prowess inside the Wolves box and trying to go in for a goal. But ultimately, they both progress the play very well. They both retain fantastically, and they're perfect for Pep's system. And it's just a shame that you don't get to see Rodrigo and Fernandinho often enough in the midfield.
No, absolutely right. And I think that is probably the biggest respect Pep could give to Nuno. He's playing two players who were defensively a lot more disciplined compared to the other central midfielders available, with their leadership qualities and tactical awareness. That shows that Pep was aware of the dangers that Wolves presented. And we saw that with, the right-hand side, Podence, Traore. They gave City a really tough time.
The worrying thing for me, City did struggle with the kind of players that they had available, just due to the fact that they couldn't play Bernardo, Zinchenko, or Cancelo, and therefore Pep has to try and consolidate as many areas of the pitch as possible. Having Walker on the right means that you secure that area of the pitch, but leaving Mendy on the left to kind of deal with Traore is always asking for problems. And I think Traore ran Mendy ragged today. His work rate from the right wing back position, even though he plays slightly deeper, is fantastic still. He's able to make these kind of Gareth Bale-esque runs down the pitch. And just because he's so fast, he's always going to able to get that cross off without someone being able to kind of stick a foot in. And ultimately, that also gave opportunities for Podence to kind of run in behind. I thought there was a key instance where you can see John Stones was a little bit lazy. He looks at the play as opposed to a run in behind from Podence, and Podence goes through. And the shame for me, I think, with Wolves' performance is that they had 3 or 4 clean-cut chances to score, and they didn't make the most out of it.
No, that's true. And they have that lethal striker in Jimenez, who's I feel he's such a talented player. You can see his, with the goal, the way he finished, it was a thumping header. To get that power off from that short lift, incredible. And we're going to see a lot of him this season. We're probably going to recreate as many goals as he did last season. He's integral for this Wolves side. They have already sold Jota to Liverpool, and for them to retain, I think that's given them the financial security sort of to retain Jimenez, even if a tempting offer comes in. It's going to be crucial and key for Nuno's side going forward, and I think that's going to attract a lot of players, a lot of teams. You're going to be looking at him.
No, absolutely. And I think Podence as well fills in kind of Jota's role very well. He plays almost as a winger at times and also can play as a centre forward. His runs in behinds are great. And I feel like he just needs to really work on his finishing and his decision making. There was a easy instance where he could have chipped the ball over Ederson as well. He misses that opportunity, but it's about the fact that when you make these fantastic runs over the course of the season, you'll get the goals. And I think Wolves will do very well this season. The question is whether they can actually break that mark and make European football finally.